Hi everyone. In this video, I will just try to kind of show you write, edit, and plan, which are our extensions. And I will try to kind of keep it short because I think it's very important for you to kind of get to know the functionalities, but I don't think that you need to get to know everything in depth, because if you're interested in seeing it, kind of just get back to us, reach out to us, and then you will get everything that you need. But as you can see right now from my first page that I show right now, we differ between write, edit, and write plan. Both extensions were developed a few years ago. We started with write, edit around about 5 years ago now with one customer here in Germany. And then we decided to also develop a plan extension. What you can see from the different icons that you see here is that write, edit kind of focuses on the whole editing process, meaning with write, edit, you are able to kind of input comments, free text, checkboxes, whatever within ClickSense. You also have the possibility to write back the data to a separate database. This is like the normal saving process that we always have. There are all kinds of databases that we can write back into, for example, MS SQL, Postgres, MariaDB, whatever, but also we've created custom connectors so that you can write back to SAP, for example. So this is something that some of our customers also did. With regards to write plan, we allow simple but also complex planning within ClickSense. So if you kind of are interested in financial planning, sales plans, approval workflows, and everything that you need for your planning procedure within ClickSense, then this is something that we also allow. One thing I really want to the focus on is the thing that we are enterprise ready. So I think that you might have heard that there are some other solutions on the market allowing planning or also allowing writing back data within ClickSense. But we are enterprise ready, meaning we're working with many large enterprises, and we're working with around about 50 partners worldwide to also sell our extension to their customers, just due to the fact that this is really a good quality solution. But I don't want to show you the slide the whole time, but instead I would just like to jump into the presentation right now, showing ClickSense first. So what you can see right now is our write, edit extension. As I said, write, edit allows you to edit data within ClickSense. I will not show everything in depth, but I just want to give you a quick overview of what we got. And what you can see right now is a editable table. So you could imagine having a native ClickSense table, but you say that you want this table to be editable, and this is exactly what we allow. So what you can see here directly, for example, is that you've got a date picker field where you can just kind of change the date to, now it's 2024, that doesn't really make sense. Let's say it's 2020, June the 16th, and I've just changed that date here. Of course, we've got drop-down menus as well, allowing you to see a predefined set of data, for example, all customers that you can see right now. What we also have is an associative drop-down, meaning if you select one country here, for example, France, you would only see French cities in the next column, meaning, for example, Paris. And this is something that we then also kind of allow in many different use cases. And once again, this is just a demo, right? So if you are interested in this solution, we always say that this can be seen as a toolbox. We offer you many functionalities, and it's up to you, whatever your use case looks like. And then we can just use these functionalities to create your specific use case. Another functionality that we have are checkboxes, and it looks pretty easy right now, but what this then kind of leads to is approval workflows, for example. So if someone confirms a checkbox, then, for example, this value could be shown to the manager, and then the manager must approve the value or rather reject it. That's also possible. Another thing that we allow also within Edit is easy calculation. So for example, we've got a calculation feature here where I can just change the forecast, meaning this should not be 50K, but instead it should be 100K. Just hit the enter and you see that the total here also changed. And if I save everything, you of course see that the total sales confirms and all native KPIs also change. So let me just hit the save button and you will see that now a reload is triggered, meaning the data gets written back into a separate database and afterwards is pulled back into ClickSense. And of course, you can see that the native KPIs here have changed now. If we just select, for example, two values here, you see that this solution is totally integrated into ClickSense, and what you also see is that this global input field up here occurred. Global input allows changing all values at a time. In this case, I could kind of change all values to Aino shoes, for example, and you see that I've just changed all of them right away. I could do that with any of these values. Right now, I only showed you the table, but what I also want to show you is our forms extension. This is part of the edit extension, but nonetheless, what it does, it shows everything in kind of a formula. So let me just select these values, for example, and then you can see that here you can see a formula. In this formula, once again, it's totally up to you which values are shown. In this case, we said that there should be a customer value, there should be a commenting box where I can just write a comment. And also what we can do here is we can, for example, say that one of these boxes or one of these values can be changed by user A, but the other one could be changed by user B only. So these different user rights, this is something that we also allow here. Actually, we use this functionality internally very often as well. So it's really helpful if you're also working with a phone or an iPad or whatever. So that really helps you to kind of show that in a different way instead of working with the whole table. Of course, what we also have is a full historization of the data. So everything that you change will be tracked. So also, or always it will be tracked. When has it been changed? By whom has it been changed? And of course, this really helps to kind of then see the different changes. You could show it on the front end if you like, but you really don't have to. That's totally up to you again. One thing that I wanted to show you within Edit as well is the approval process. We've got way more, I have to say that, but within this video, I wanted to kind of end at 10 or 15 minutes, so I don't want to show everything right now. But what we've got here is a approval workflow, and what I can do now is I can select, for example, exactly one customer. And what we see now is that I have selected the customer electro cars, and we can see two different views. So we can see the sales rep view and the manager's view. The sales rep can now kind of enter a new forecast for his manager. And in this case, he can just press the add button. So this is also something that we allow, adding new values to ClickSense. And then the sales rep, in this case, Mr. Me, for example, could say for my customer electro cars with my product right in my year 2020, I expect a sales of 1 million, just as an example, and I hit the commit button. Hit the save button and you would see the reload is triggered once again, and the data gets written back into the database and again into ClickSense. And what you can see now is here a value occurred. So it's gone here, you can't see it here anymore, but here you can see Mr. Me enter the value electro cars for the product right and with a value of 1 million. And then the manager could rather reject it by hitting the commit button, but he could also just approve the value. And if you like, he could also write down a comment here. So let me just hit the approve button, save the value again, and then please take a look at the approved sales up here. And you see that it changed from 258 million to 259 million. So that's how easy it is and how fast the whole process is. That being said, I now jump into the plan solution. First of all, show the easy plan solution, and then afterwards I want to show you a more complex way of also building it in order to show you how it could look like within a project. But of course, we also started with a dashboard here showing just a few KPIs that really need, for example, the top 5 customers, actual revenue, etc. And what we've got here in this page is the plan extension. And what you need to do in order to kind of see a plan is, first of all, you need to select exactly one budget plan or scenario. So let me, for example, select the actuals of my year 2019. And what you see is that the plan occurs here. And if I just kind of widen that, you can see that this is how the plan looks like right now. So in this case, we've got a sales plan for a whole company in 4 different regions, North, East, South, and West. And within these regions, we've got different sales reps, and within these sales reps or underneath these sales reps, we've got different customers. And of course, this is very flexible. So we've got customers like Lufthansa, for example, that are working with 14 different hierarchy levels. And we've also got customers that have totally different plans than what we show right here. And you will show that later. I will show that later. But what we can do now is we can do easy top-down and bottom-up calculations. So in this case, I could just say, the revenue from GoInDesign should not be 20K, but instead it should be 3 million. I hit the enter button, and once again you see that this value has been calculated bottom up to the whole January value. But instead I could also say that the revenue in January should not be 5.5 million, but instead it should be 8 million. Hit the enter button again, and you see that the value is kind of broken down to the child values underneath. But of course I could just change the sum again, or let me change it to 30 million. Hit the enter button, and you see that all values in this plan have been changed now. Of course, this is not the normal way of doing it, because you would not change the values of the year 2019, but what you would do is you would create new plans for a year. So in this case, you could just create a budget, say create new plan. Okay, let's select the year, or we've got the year 2019 in our selection. So what you can do now is you could say we want to have an additional 20% in that year. Say that's our example plan for 2020. For the planning year 2020, hit the OK button. And what we did now is we've created a new plan right away with an additional 20%. Of course, what we could do is we could now allow January until May to be not editable anymore, because these months have been finished already. And there are also possibilities of creating a rolling forecast. So rolling forecast is something that you could create by hitting this button, and you can see now I'm able to kind of just select a different period, for example, a base period here, January until June from my year 2019, the year that I just selected, and my budget name, let's say 2021 forecast as an example. Very easy now, but let me just hit the OK button, and what you see now is January until June is not editable anymore, but my July until December is still editable, and this is my rolling forecast kind of. Very easy here. Let me jump into the more complex way of showing it, and this is what I can show here. Once again, what we created here is a financial planning, and first of all we started with a dashboard, and on the next page, as you can see here, we've got a quantity plan, a margin plan, an approval process, and a P&L statement. I will not dig into detail here. I will just want to show you that it looks slightly different, but actually it's the same. So what we've got here is a quantity plan. We've got a customer or a company that is selling different liquors, for example, vodka, etc. And what we can see here is their quantities. So they are planning on their quantities. Of course, we can then have a visualization here showing everything. And you could then also select for different product groups. For example, if you only want to select vodka, then you only see vodka down here showing the different plans for vodka. But I don't want to dig into detail here, as you know how the whole thing works now. But of course, we've also got a margin planning here showing the margin for the different products. And once again, we've got pretty nice visualizations here, and the sales rep can now kind of, or whomever, can change the planned margins and create different plans and scenarios here. What that would then lead into is having an approval process where a reviewer can confirm these items, and then the manager can approve it. So let me kind of just hit one of these buttons here, say the product Finlandia for year 2020, hit the reviewed button, reload is triggered, and as soon as that has happened, the value will be shown down here at the manager's view, and then you will see that the manager could now also approve that value or rather reject it. Just the easy way that I showed you before. What that then leads into, and this is then the end because I don't want to dig into detail into planning, this is a very complex topic and we could definitely dig into detail here, but what that leads into is a P&L statement in this case. So now you can see the P&L statement for the whole company for these products that we've selected. And of course, it's totally up to you what you show here. We've got different plans where you've also got a cost plan, where we've got an personnel plan, etc., investment planning. So all kinds of plans could be done within our solution, and that then kind of leads to a big picture, I think. So if you're interested in learning more, please just reach out to us. But of course, I think as a first overview, this was quite okay. All right, thank you very much and take care.